It's your boy Uncle Fred, back in the house. One more again. Just gonna jump on here real quick. Been trying to get this video done for a couple of days, but life be lifing. But it's just kind of what it is. Hit that like, comment, and subscribe. Become a part of Uncle Fred Sports Experience. Guarantee you will not be disappointed. First of all, man, it's some uh, world stuff. I mean, some of the stuff that we do is a pastime, but the world is a um, I don't know. I shudder to say the world's a terrible place, but sometimes terrible things happen. Unless you were under a rock and you saw the little events that happened, yes, not little events, but the events that happened yesterday in Utah. A political spokesman, I think his name is Charlie Kirk. Kind of a ultra conservative think tank individual, uh, gunned down, shot down, like in the middle of doing a presentation at I think it's a Utah college. I'm not sure of the name of it. I'd be remiss not to mention that. And certainly our thoughts and prayers are with that man and his family. And he had a 1 and a 3-year-old, a wife. And I'm sure he's a son. He's probably a brother. Um, it's a terrible thing. Now, regardless of how you may feel about what his stances were on certain things or whatever, he's still a human being. He's still a guy that probably loves his family, loves God. Because I've heard what he some of the stuff he stands for, and we don't always have to agree on every individual line item for me to have care when something bad happens to you. So that was the worst. So that's like I said, our thoughts and prayers are with his family, his wife, and his children. Can't imagine, leaving, this place with you, leaving your loved ones, your kids behind. And I think he was like 30. And on top of that, this is the 24th anniversary of the September the 11th uh, terrorist plane, Trade Center, Pentagon, that field in Pennsylvania. About 3,000 people were killed at the Trade Center. Um, that's what certainly our thoughts and prayers are with those folks that are, have memories of their loved ones that were killed in that. Will always remember that, and always be thinking like, where were you when that happened? And that's one of those events, just like that thing that happened yesterday. Where were you? There was also a shooting at a school in Colorado. Man, it's just a lot. It's a lot going on in this world today, and so certainly our thoughts are with. I think a shooter shot himself and then shot and wounded 2 other students. It's a lot going on, man. So sports is usually a good um, distraction from real life. So what we're going to do now, as I said, this video is the recap from the NFL Week One, real quick. Just going to briefly go down through it. Your boy Uncle Fred went 7-9 in the 16 games. We got a game tonight with the Commanders and the Packers. Go Pack! Um, we'll see how that goes. Go Packers, go man, go Packers, go. Just in this game, can't win too many games because we got their draft picks. But anyway, your boy went 7-9. A couple of notable games. I guess I could go over a couple of them. I guess I could go over a couple of them. I got them right here. Of course, the games that were on Thursday and Friday. Eagles and the Cowboys. Cowboys lost 24-20. Then on Friday night, the surprisingly the Chargers were able to hold off the Chiefs 27-21. That's a couple of themes in this week stuff that was going on that I think was interesting. With the kickers and stuff like that. I think kickers, they here. I don't want to put TK's business in the street, but he's one of those people that um thought that the kickers are the key to some of the stuff, the point spreads and all this kind of stuff. The kickers don't make any money, so we know that Butker missed a kick, and that kind of threw the points in different ways, and it made it where they couldn't win the game and stuff. So anyway, so that game, the Chiefs, I mean, Chargers won. Uh, Moving on to Saturday, Cardinals beat the Saints 20 to 13. Not much to talk about there. The Panthers Jaguars beat the Panthers 26 to 10 after a 90-minute storm delay. And the Jaguars were able to win that. The Cincinnati Bengals outlasted the Cleveland Browns 17-16. I think the kicker's name is Skype or something like that. He missed a 36-yard field goal, which really the Browns really would have won that game. Scythe, I think that might be his name. And it was a false start. I believe they moved it back 36 yards, and he just missed it. So it's what it is, man. But the Bengals hold on. Bengals first time in a while get off to a good start, win their first game of the season. One of the surprising games that I missed, the Raiders surprisingly beat the Patriots 20 to 13. Another game that I missed. The Dolphins opened a can of whoop ass on the Dolphins 33-8. That game was 30-0. That game was not even as close as that score indicated. That's a game where you got to look at what's going to happen with Mike McDaniel. Um, you got Tyreek Hill, you got trade rumors of him, different teams looking at getting him, even the Chiefs and some others. I mean, that's with as much talent, with as much speed that team has, there's no way they should be getting boat raced by the Indianapolis Colts. I'm not saying the coach shouldn't have won. Coach got to have a good team, but they shouldn't have been able to do that to the Dolphins. But they were able to win that one. Another game that I lost, the Buccaneers beat the Falcons 23-20. Another incident with a kicker, Young Wei Koo, missed like a 40-yard field goal that game really should have went to overtime. He kicked it. It was wrong as soon as it left his foot, man. So I missed that game. It's a lot of games I missed. I missed more than I made. So that's what it is. Here we got the Commanders, which I missed that one because I thought every season opener is always an upset, right? So the Commanders, I thought would take it on the chin. I thought the defensive line of the Giants would overtake them, but that was not the case. Commanders win 21-6. Russell Wilson was awful. I think it was like 17 or 40, like 100 and something yards. I'll tell you right now. He was he was he was 17 of 37 for 168 yards and no touchdowns. So anyway, so much for that. So yeah, let's go back to the screen here. So you got that one. All right. So and then you had the move back to my screen here. All right, here we go. Yeah, and then you had the Steelers, which is probably one of the most exciting games of the day. The Steelers outlast the uh, Jets 34 to 32. Uh, Field goal at the buzzer, 60-yarder. Uh, so that I have to give my man the kicker for the Steelers. No, he's money, man. He's up there with our guy Aubrey. The Broncos take the Titans. I got that game 20-12. Packers over the Lions, but that was a surprise. And I thought the Packers would win, but really that game was 27-6. That game was not even close. Michael Parsons played 30 snaps, got a sack, got a couple of pressures. One of the pressures led to a Jared Goff interception, and he got a sack late in the game where he ran him down from behind. That could have looked real good on the Cowboys and against the Eagles on Thursday, running down. But Jalen Hurts and Jared Goff not exactly the same thing. Another game that I missed, the Rams. I mean, hey, you have to look at the Rams as one of the teams. I just kind of felt like the Texans with that defensive lineup could do something. But what I didn't anticipate was that the Rams would totally shut down the Texans offense. They didn't even score a touchdown after firing Bobby Slowick last year. It seemed like they may not have figured out the offensive issues. So the Rams win 14-9. And then Sunday night, uh, man, that was a crazy game. That's one of them games that looked like there was a rig involved. I mean, the Ravens was just running away with them 40-25 midway through the fourth quarter. I mean, and then the kicker for the I can't think what the new kicker's name for the Ravens missed the extra point after that ridiculous catch by Hopkins. He caught basically the tip of the ball with one hand and brought that in. Bill's cornerbacks up there doing this. I'm like, dude, he caught that. You looking like Brandon Carr right about now. But they missed the extra point, and then the Bills, and it was all going swell up until Derrick Henry, who had like 18 carries, 169 yards, and 2 touchdowns, fumbled. And I didn't like the play calling from Harbaugh late in that game. Called like I call safe runs, not aggressive runs like they were doing earlier, which set the table for um, the Bills to come back. There was a pass in the end zone that got deflected, knocked in the air, and I think it was caught by Keon Coleman. Kyle Hamilton was right there. Just kind of like decided to not make a play. It sometimes, I don't know, man. I know people want Josh Allen to win everything, and I get it, man. I get it, but but Lamar ain't won nothing either, you know. But the Bills win 41-40. They score, I think, like 20 points in the fourth quarter. Josh Allen throws for like 250 yards in the fourth quarter, and they kick a field goal at the buzzer. The guy, that real kicker, Bass, was hurt. This guy, they just, Prater, uh, basically, they just met the guy that morning, and he kicked like a 35-yarder to win the game. So Bills win 41-40. And then the Monday night game, which another game I thought was some funny business going on. Bears was basically rubbing the Vikings' nose in it. I think they had like 85 yards going into the fourth quarter, and then they were just moving, matriculating down the field. Then here comes a suspicious holding call on a drive that the Bears had that pushed them back 10 yards. So now it's second down and 20. It may not seem like a big thing, but second down and 20 is a lot different than second down and 6, second down and 4, because now the defense can dictate to you. Now you can just tee off because you know you got to get that first down. Okay. And it also caused an intentional grounding. It would end up being like a third down and 30. They got like 8, 9, 10 of the yards back, and the guy missed the field goal. Another field goal kicker missed the field goal that could have, put the, kind of held off the Vikings, but they end up scoring 2 touchdowns and then a field goal and won it 27 to 20. I think 27 to 24. That was the final score there. So as I said, your boy went 7-9. So much for that. We're getting for the NFL. So we're looking forward to the game tonight. So anyway, as it relates to the Cowboys, a couple things are going on I want to talk about, and then we're gonna go ahead and shut it on down. Um, First of all, there was some talk about the stuff that happened in the game, and then we played the Eagles, and it's definitely a difference between how the two front offices are run. The Eagles won the game Thursday night, but they saw that there was differences. They saw that there were problems. They probably were thinking like, man, we need an additional back to, because I think his name is Shipley, Jordan Shipley, the rookie. I think he had some cracked ribs, and so They traded a fifth and a sixth round of next year's draft um, for Tank Bigsby. A very capable running back. He got like 700 yards last year while he was sharing carries with Travis Etienne for the Jaguars. And a lot of people are like, he dropped the fifth and the sixth. Yes, it's a draft pick. And you're probably not getting a better back at that level than Tank Bigsby. And that's what I keep telling people. Them draft picks ain't gold, man. Use them things for compensation for what you need to get. That's why them 2 first-round picks, man, don't just sit there and just use them picks to pick players. Use them to go get players, in free agency. The guy that you need to help you now, not a guy that can help you in 2 years. And then they noticed that they needed extra help, in the defensive line, category. Jalen Carter, did what he did. Jalen Carter's sort of a loose cannon. They want to say, well, we want to keep our play level at the same point. If Jalen Carter loses his mind again, right? And so they go to get Jadarius Smith. You know, that's what good front offices do. They find a need and they go and fill it. They don't sit around and say, well, maybe Jahad Campbell will figure some things out. Maybe this what's that kid's name? Hunt. Maybe this Hunt guy, maybe he's gonna figure some things out. No, we're trying to win now. We trying to cover holes now. So right now, and so what that leads me to, Cowboys had a meeting with Jadeveon Clowney yesterday. Jadeveon Clowney, first overall pick in the 2014 draft by the Houston Texans, bounced around the league, played for Houston's, played for Cleveland's, played for the Baltimore Ravens, redshirt like 9, 10 sacks for them, played for the Carolina Panthers last year. I think he signed a 2-year, $20 million deal for them. They let go of him after 1 year. And he's kind of like been hanging around and stuff. So he met with the Cowboys on yesterday and he left without a deal. Now, according to Mike Fisher, he's one of my sources that I look at. Shout out to Mike Fisher because he actually is in the building. He actually goes to the Star, talks to Jerry, Steven, and Will. So, when he says something, I kind of like, okay, But a lot of people have said, well, he wanted too much money. Well, that's not what Mike said. Mike said that, they just left and he's coming back today. So maybe they signed a deal with him because, hey, we need pass rushers because they let somebody go. We ain't gonna mention his name because people been put on a memorandum not to mention him, but pass rush left something to be desired Thursday night. So they, he's 6'5", 265 pounds, very good at the run against the run, and he can get you a sack. Had 5 sacks last year on a bad team. He would do us well. Probably better than D-Law at this point in his career, even though he's like 30, 31 years old. Um, so hopefully that we can look what the Eagles are doing and make a trade for a running back too. Running back room with the running scheme we got, man, we'll give a second round pick and go get Jonathan Taylor so we can boogie. you know. Now, the other big news, in addition to some of the things that went on, they was thinking that wide receivers was loafing on blocks, wasn't filling up their blocks, wasn't. It's kind of like half, wasn't out there, and Shotty's been saying, and then that's the reason why Jadon Blue's not playing. That's what they're saying. We got to be consistent. He said that in his press conference. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe Jadon Blue gets a jersey on against the Giants. I could understand him not putting a rookie running back out there against a Vince, the defensive coordinator for the Eagles, uh, Vic Fangio against his defense. Which makes underline everything, dot every I, cross every T. You got a rookie out there that it's kind of been said that he ain't in his playbook as deep as he's supposed. He, out there and he could get your quarterback killed if you don't know what his assignment is. And so Shadi said, people got to be consistent and they got to, that we're not just giving out, positions here. So maybe against the Giants we'll see him because one thing we know, Miles Sanders did get run down from behind and he did fumble. So So anyway, so the big news of the day as we close this video is Jerry, I don't know what you did in a previous life. I don't know if you made a deal with the other dude, I don't know what you did, man. But seem like everybody you put money in their hands, something happened to them of some sort. Whether it's Steele, whether it's Diggs, whether it's Bland, Deron Bland, Monday practice, has a foot or ankle injury. It's gonna miss some weeks. Now, if the Cowboys was the Eagles, you know what they would have already had done? Y'all know where I'm going with this. They would have signed Gilly. Okay. No, what are we waiting to see? I don't care what Zion Childress has, or this Reddy Richards, whatever this guy is, and this other guy that you got. I don't care what they've got. You go get Gilly so he can solidify the room. You know, you could never have too many corners. I promise you that. All right. Should have already had him on the roster. Okay. Because didn't you not learn from last year? You just let Gilly walk. And 5 days after that, Deron Bland got hurt. Now you decided to pay Deron Bland. I was on a week ago. He got his 4-year, 92, 91, 90 million, whatever deal. And he got one game in and a practice, and he hurt. I don't know what you did, who upstairs you pissed off, but get that right. Go down on your knees tonight and get that right, Jerry. Okay. So I think I heard that they're gonna call up Zion Childress. Hey, you got a rookie. Even if it's the ready guy, it's a rookie. That Waylon, Winyon Robinson uh is a witch in that slot. He herky jerky, man. And you better not dare put that dude on Malik Neighbors. Um, and Kyer Elam, you got some making up, you got some explaining to do after giving up that big one to Jahan Dawson that you had. No, that was the biggest play of the night pass plays that you gave it up to a guy that's a fifth receiver, the fourth receiver on the roster for the Eagles. So we got some issues. But anyway, that's all I got as far as the Cowboys update, man. We certainly looking forward to the game. Hopefully, we're not looking past the Giants. Giants did not look good Sunday. Offensive line is not good. Andrew Thomas looks like he's not going to play. I don't know if they still got Evan Neal. Evan Neal is buns. Uh, uh, and so that I don't know. Looks like we might be able to get some defensive pressure. uh, Kenny Clark, I'm sure, going to get some pressure. Some of the guys, Raku, some of them guys probably get some pressure. And But I'm just worried about that back end now that Bland's not going to play. Like I said, when you don't prepare, you prepare to fail. You fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. And the Cowboys with $40 million of cap room money, still pinching pennies and still waiting to see if some other leaves are gonna fall. Well, ain't no leaves gonna fall. Go ahead and sign the check and get these guys out there and let's win some games, man. Anyway, man, that's all I got, man, for the desk with Uncle Fred, man. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Become a part of the Uncle Fred Sports Experience. I guarantee you, you will not be disappointed. Catch you guys later in the week and look out for either Saturday, sometime Saturday. TK and I will do our pick'em show for week 2. Look out for that. Catch you guys later.